Johnson's in the protocol. Jalen Moore has a lower leg strain, he's gonna miss a little bit of time. And is that it? That was it.
Johnson in the protocol from
John's definitely in the protocol. He's recovering slowly, but doesn't look like it. But he's feeling better.
What was your message after Tuesday in the hit that he took?
To wear a helmet or be more coordinated in riding a bike.
Okay.
Kyle, Greenlaw, okay, or you just got a day off the other day?
He just got a day off, yeah.
Haven't talked to you since the like brawl, whatever they were the other day. What did you think of that? I know you don't love teammates fighting, but do you like the intensity of that?
Yeah, I love the intensity of it. I don't think you have to fight to be intense though. I mean, scuffles are scuffles, but then they lead to other stuff. I mean, I think that's why we had a guy in a protocol, because we took an unnecessary shot on someone, which led to the big fight, and then we had a bunch of haymakers and stuff thrown in there, which only break hands. I think our team's pretty tough. I think we're pretty physical. I think if most people probably voted on who was most physical team on tape last year, I think we'd win most of that. And we didn't get in one fight last year, so I don't think that totally pertains to toughness.
You sense that Ayuk was standing up for something, or did you feel that happening out there?
Yeah, definitely. I understood what he stood up to, so and it bothered me.
You said Johnson in the protocol was from that
Yeah.
incident?
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy around throwing, even during practice, the crowd seeing it. Is that a little awkward, or is that something that just didn't even really come up with anything?
No, I didn't come up with anything. I mean, we have a real good relationship with Jimmy. There's no secret here of what the situation is. I think he fully understands the situation. We fully understand the situation. So we make the best of it. Jimmy's out there. He's feeling better and better each day. I still see him. I mean, we have a real good relationship with Jimmy. He's done some really good things here. So fans getting pumped with him, and our players still love him, seeing him. That doesn't surprise me at all.
You mentioned, I think, the first day that he could be reported for the examination and then could go, or you let him. He didn't have to be here. Is that just entirely his choice to be here, working out on site?
Yes, I mean, I think you have to report, with the rules of the NFL today and stuff. You have to report. So we made it the best for both. I think if Jimmy wanted to be in every single meeting and wanted to do everything, for sure we would let him. I would guess that isn't what he would want totally. And when we asked him, that was accurate. He didn't totally want that. So he's just trying to get his body ready for hopefully the next situation he goes into.
Now, Elijah had talked about wanting to work on his when the one-on-one battles in the open field. Was it obviously a deal last year, but was an issue with him? He didn't try to win one-on-one battles in the open field. He often chose to run over people or try to.
No, I mean, you gotta. Elijah's such an efficient runner. He doesn't mess around at all. He's going downhill. He creates edges on people and just trying to go through people every play, which is why we like him so much. When you do that and you're committed to that, sometimes you do lose some yards out there where you could have a little bit of a bigger play. But that's, I think, also why he has such good yards per carry. But when you go out and you evaluate everything and you watch all the runs that you have, and you get a bunch of them, you do see places you can improve. And he had a couple big runs that could have been bigger. And I think that's what his goal is. He has the 40 to do it, but he runs like he's a 230-pound big back, which is what makes him such a good runner. So it's trying not to lose what has got him here, and then just add other elements to his game that his body's capable of doing.
You said he had multiple broken ribs. I think it was the Bears game where got that injury. He didn't miss a game. It seems like a pretty serious injury. Would you expect him to miss some time?
Yeah, he did miss some time with it because it happened a couple different times during the year also. So sometimes he got through, sometimes he didn't. Yeah, that would seem that way to me. If I would have something wrong with my rib, I can't get out of a chair. But it's different. You ask some players, Kendrick Bourne played with a broken rib and didn't realize he had one. And then some guys have a broken rib and they can't even move. So it's all kind of where it's at, whether it's front and back, each one's a little bit different.
Fred Warner had said that he was early on that he was kind of pushing Brandon's buttons a little bit he wants him to take it to the next level. Is that the kind of thing you guys watch closely, or just let the veterans handle it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I want everyone challenging each other. I mean, I don't care how much crap each other talk. I don't care how close they get to fighting. I mean, they can do whatever they want to get themselves going and being as intense as they want and bring the best out of each other, which happens a lot that way. And it's the same on the field. But once you throw a punch, you get ejected or you get a penalty. And we pride ourselves on, I want people to be irritants. I want people to get as close as they can to all that stuff. I want people to get right on the line where they're about to black out. But you can't black out in football or you cost your team. So, but I love doing that to other people.
Are you bringing in another quarterback for a workout? Anybody signing?
I'm not sure. I didn't know we were. So, are we?
There's a report saying that you guys are going to work out a quarterback.
No, it's news to me, but I don't pay attention to that stuff. We work out a lot of people. So,
So
the
there's
people
no,
on
there's no
this-
urgent need for an extra arm.
No, if there was an urgent
Right.
need, I would know. Yeah.
Trey Sermon talked about trusting his eyes and his vision. I know it's only been a few practices, but have you seen a little difference in him, how he's hitting the hole?
Definitely. His first 4 runs that we had Trey sees it good. It's just about hitting it without any hesitation. Those holes in the NFL close a lot faster than they do in college, and I think that was something Trey learned the hard way his first year. And he's got the film, he's got the experiences that happened, and you want to see how he is the first day you put pads on, and we didn't have to remind him, which is cool. That means he learned a lot from last year, and he's been thinking about it all off season. He's built his body to handle it, and most importantly, you can tell his mindset's there, and we've seen it in practice, and I can't wait to see it in these games coming up.
With the right guard competition, is Brunskill still in on that, and what have you seen from Spencer Burford that's getting him that time?
Spencer he's done a great job. I mean, he's got all the skill set to do it, so it's about getting the reps and getting used to going against our D-line and just doing it down in and down out at this level. But he's got the ability to do it at a high level. When you talk about Brunskill, I mean, Brunskill's been there for the last couple of years. We know what Dan can do. Everyone's got to prove themselves, definitely, but giving Dan a ton of reps isn't always going to help him. He needs to get to the season healthy, as good as he can, and we also want to make sure he's getting more reps at center, because that's what he's had less of in the past couple of years.
Kyle, you've made it clear how highly you think of Jimmy Ward. There was a time where he was having trouble staying on the field, all that. He's now one of your longest tenured players. In retrospect, what made you believe so strongly in Jimmy?
Just what he's made of. Jimmy's a football player. Like, you don't have to convince him of anything. He wakes up, he's ready to hit. He wakes up, he's ready to guard. Watch the way he challenges people in man coverage at the line of scrimmage. I think he does that better than anyone on our team. He's also a safety who will hit as much as anyone on our team. Jimmy loves to practice. He loves to talk football. He loves everything about it. And how talented he is to where, I mean, we could have put him as our best corner our first couple of years we got here. He's been our best safety the whole time we've been here. And the only thing that's held him back is injuries. And when we looked at his injuries and why he was getting them, we just felt there were some freak things. And those are the guesses you got to make with everyone. I mean, if you have a guy who every time he pulls a hamstring or just all these muscle things and it's just one thing after another, a lot of time that stuff doesn't change. But when a guy's broke his collarbone and he's broken his wrist and things like that, I usually chalk that up to just some unfortunate incidents. And that's what you got to gamble on. Doesn't mean you're going to be right, but that's what we felt like. And Jimmy's definitely made us look good in that way because he stayed healthy, and that's usually all Jimmy's got to worry about. When he stays healthy, everyone sees the type of player he is.
At least with us, it seems like he's really found his voice since he's been able to kind of settle in. But have you noticed that in him being more outspoken, just in any format?
Yeah, we hear Jimmy all the time out there. He's got a great personality. He's always himself. I mean, the guys on this team love him. And when you work as hard as he does, and he's committed to football the way he does, however you act, as long as you're yourself, people are going to follow you. And that's why he's one of the better leaders on our team.
You and John have always said that you're not looking for a veteran center, almost like it's an option, but it's not something you're looking at. Would that option be even dwindling more? Have you seen enough, obviously barring injury or whatever, that you're pretty well set with that position?
Yeah, we feel very good with the people in our building. When you talk about a veteran stuff, which everyone does, that just means it's always a lot easier when you've seen someone do it for 16 games or 17 games. But no one does do that till you give them the opportunity. We see in practice every day now. We saw it last year that we have guys in our building who are definitely capable of it. Now it's about getting into those games. And we'll try to give him some experience in preseason, but you show it in practice, but our O-line coach says it all the time. You don't know if an O-lineman can play until he gets his ass kicked in a game, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. And then how do you come back the next week? Are you rattled? Do you kind of hide, or do you rise to the occasion and learn how to deal with it? And that's really, to me, what playing a line is in the NFL. And you don't know that until you give those guys those opportunities. But you got to believe in what the person's made of. And we got the guys athletically, and I also think we got the character in this room to handle those situations.
You said he, I don't think you did, but was that Brendel specifically?
Yeah, that's where it started at. And we also, and that's the guy's getting the first opportunity, but we also know Brunskill's started at guard for us at a high level. He's played at tackle. And Dan, really anything we ask him to do, he ends up figuring out. And plays at a level that is good enough to win at. So we got some good options.
Coach, Brandon Marshall here from I Am Athlete. I was drafted in 2006 by a legendary coach by the name of Mike Shanahan. Okay, I played 4 years in Denver, had some spectacular seasons with Coach Shanahan, Heimendinger, Jay Cutler, Tony Scheffler, Eddie Royal, and so many other legends. Legendary coach, but there were some times during the course of a ball game where, you know, people's asses get tight a little bit, right? You know, it might be a TV timeout. We're on the sideline. What do we call? And you got Coach Shanahan with his paper, his call sheet, and he will always go to trips, right, facts, why stick, looky. So he'll put me in the slot, and he'd say, Brandon, get open, right? So when the game gets tight, what's your go-to? Do you have a go-to?
What coverage are they playing?
Let's go. You know, let's go quarters. Let's go quarters. That's it.
I'm probably gonna go Looky Jaguar, which is almost the same play you're talking about, but I'm gonna give my player a little more freedom and give him a two-way go, and not just give him the outbreak route.
Okay.
Some of those older guys are a little tight.
Love it.
One more question. You've been around the 90.
You gotta introduce yourself.
Coach Adam Jones,
We're used to it. We're not used to this.
You've been
I think
around
everyone
the
knows
90.
you too, man. You guys don't have to introduce yourself.
You've been around the 90 49ers, you've been around the 90 Broncos. Is it one coach or player that you took your swag or a little something from to get to where you're at today?
I mean, I took everything from my dad. Like, I never worked with my dad till Washington, which throws a lot of people off. So, I mean, I never worked at the Broncos, but just like you guys see my son up here all the time, right? Like, that's how I was. I mean, I was hopping in one-on-ones during mini camp coming back from college, and I'm sure that was illegal, but they can't find him now. So, I mean, I just grew up all around it, and so you're around it all the time, and I was always trying to be a player. But then once you get into coaching, and I feel my style was more like my dad's, not because you're naturally trying to, because that's just what I was around all the time, and I respected the hell out of them. But when it comes to your style or your swag or stuff, it has to do with your friends and the people that you hang around and the people you go to high school with, people you go to college with, and because I don't try to emulate anyone, I just try to be who I've always been, and that's usually the people you associate yourself with.
Mark McDaniel's been he was your right-hand man for essentially a decade or over a decade. Has there been, or what's the adjustment period been like without him by your side?
I mean, it's been different. He's been there for so long, so he's a guy I always get to bounce stuff off of. He prepares a lot of my meeting stuff for me. So it's been good going through this off season, just having to train some other guys to do that. You know, Clay Kubiak's done an awesome job preparing a lot of the film and stuff like that. And he's got, I had him on defense last year and just brought him to offense this year, and thrown a lot at him and just see what he can do, and it's been great. And Chris Verster, who's always been, him and I in Washington together, is really what started with this run game. And Mike, we brought there our second year in Washington, and Mike was a pass game guy, but those roles were filled up. I had Sean McVay as my quality control, then moved him to tight end coach. I had Matt LaFleur as my quality control coach, moved him to quarterback. So I put Mike with the run stuff with Chris. So Chris helped Mike so much to where then when Mike and I went to Cleveland and Atlanta, and Chris wasn't there, we were able to do stuff and keep building off it. And then we were so fortunate to get Chris back here, but it's kind of been always the same. And now losing Mike, Chris has had to step it up in some areas, which has been great because he was always there as the original guy. So it's been fun to get back with him more and talking more with him, and really having his imprint on stuff the more we go.
You talked about Jimmy Ward. You talked about Jimmy Ward finding his voice. Brandon Ayuk is famously quiet, but now he's standing up to the middle linebacker and asserting himself on the practice field daily. How much has he grown?
A ton. I mean, it started throughout last year. Everyone knows about last year, but as last year went, I mean, he was shocking us by talking at the end of the year, walking up to Jed and just asking him what's going on, and Jed like, oh my God, Ayuk, talk to me. Him just walking into my office randomly and just staring at me and saying hi, and me having to carry the conversation. But he started doing that a ton last year, and it's led into this off season, which he had as good of an off season as anybody on our team, and I think he's grown up a lot as a person. I think I also think that's expected. You know, you got a guy who went to junior college. I think he had 2 years at ASU and comes into the league, which was a COVID year, which you don't learn a lot in. And it's been really fun to get to know him more, and he's doing a hell of a job here.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.